Well, most of you are probably familiar with the red-headed woodpecker, and if you haven't seen one, you may have heard one.
Important research about the bird happening right here in our own backyard. A University of Toledo professor and students spending several weeks in the woods working to help solve one of the mysteries about that species. 13
ABC's Lisa Guyton hit the trail with them today, and she joins us from Oak Openings, all new at 5:30.
Red-headed woodpeckers are mainly found in the eastern United States, but their population is declining. That's not the case, however, here in the Oak Openings region, and researchers are trying to find out why. Compared to other places around the country, the Oak Openings region is home to a relatively abundant population of red-headed woodpeckers. But it's not clear why they seem to be thriving here and struggling elsewhere.
This research right now is pilot work to basically try to narrow down the questions. I mean, there's so much not known about this species, which is strange because they are charismatic and people know them. We're trying to figure out why the Oak Openings is hosting what seems like a good population of red-headed woodpeckers, while the rest of the state of Ohio has lost about 80% of their birds over the last 50 years. Michigan has lost over 90% of the red-headed woodpeckers.
Catching the birds is a well-orchestrated operation.
Use calls that imitate them and some decoys, so it brings them lower to the ground, go into our mist nets, and then we extract them from the mist nets, and then from there we're able to work with them.
Yeah, it could get incredibly loud, or maybe not. It just depends on the personality of the bird.
That work includes a quick medical checkup.
That's the amount of blood that we got out of. We're taking blood samples, tissue samples, that will basically teach us more in depth about genetic makeup of the population here, stress, their diet.
The birds are also fitted with tiny tracking devices.
So this essentially what we're going to do is put it over one leg, loop it around the back, and then put this last little loop.
We want to know how they use the habitat, how well they survive, how well they reproduce, where they go when they migrate, why they migrate, because some years they do and some years they don't.
Unlocking some of the mysteries about the birds can help us all. Red-headed woodpeckers are called a flagship species in the region, meaning their health tells a lot about the health of the ecosystem.
When we want to ask the question, how do we recover their populations, we first just need to know what habitat do they use throughout the year? Where do they travel to? How can we do the connectivity and understand, oh, maybe it's the wintering grounds, maybe it's somewhere in between. There's a lot of just what things before we can answer the why.
And this research is getting us one step closer to some of those answers.
I think we're good. Cool.
Lisa Guyton, 13 ABC, Action News.